vestibular and visual rehabilitation. Now, obviously, if you've been given rehab that is catered to your specific condition, see, the difficulty with this right now in such a short format is, in order to know what rehab you should be doing, we kind of need to know what issue you're having. And usually that requires some assessment. Now, in the course that we are building for patients, there's going to be some ways that you can, do some assessment type stuff on your own to take a look at what might be driving some of those symptoms, and then give you some rehab strategies based on that. But the rule of thumb is essentially whatever does make you dizzy or feel off visually is something that you should be doing more of. Right? So if you feel dizzy when you cross the street and you look side to side, that could be a neck issue, that could be a vestibular issue, it could be an ocular motor issue, but it doesn't matter what the issue is necessarily. All we know is that you feel dizzy when you move your head side to side. So guess what you should be trying to incorporate into your day as much as humanly possible is moving your head side to side. And you should try to do this frequently throughout the day, not just sit down and say, okay, now I'm going to do my rehab, and I'm going to do my rehab in the morning, and I'm going to do my rehab at night, or whatever. You want to incorporate it throughout your day as much as possible. And this is something that I've learned recently from a vestibular specialist by the name of Bernard Tonks. We used to give, if you haven't taken his course yet, it's fantastic. He's a Canadian vestibular physiotherapist. He teaches a really excellent course on vestibular physio, and I was lucky enough to take part in it a few weeks back. But one thing I took from that is that we used to give patients rehabilitation exercises, and we would tell them to do, 3 times a day, this many sets, this many reps, and we'd give them a very regimented process. And what he said is that, yep, that's how I used to do it too, and that's how most therapists still do it. But what he's found that's really exponentially increased his success is, not necessarily giving someone an exercise, not giving someone a fish, but teaching someone how to fish and how they can incorporate it into their daily life. So rather than saying, here's a sheet, I want you to do this particular exercise, twice a day or 3 times a day, this for this long, rather than that, he says, teach them how to do the exercise, teach them the concept of the exercise, and then have them do that as frequently as possible throughout their day. Because the way this works is what you're trying to do is integrate your central nervous system with all your different functions. Your ocular motor system, your vestibular system, and your neck and your proprioception, they all have to be kind of giving a consistent message and be on the same page for you to feel okay. Now, if there's a disconnect there and you go through your day kind of just avoiding symptoms, monitoring your neck movement, you don't want to turn too fast because that makes you dizzy, so you just kind of go through your day cautiously, and then you sit down and you do your rehab where you're doing maybe some gaze stabilizations or some saccadic stuff or whatever it may be. If you do a burst of activity all at once, your central nervous system basically just sees that as an abnormality, right? So you get symptomatic, you drive your symptoms up, and your central nervous system goes, whoa, that was weird. But it doesn't integrate it, because then the rest of your day is base level normal and you're not actually provoking any of those symptoms. What you should rather do is challenge your nervous system, 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 because then your nervous system starts to recognize that this is actually a normal thing. Right? So rather than, bookending your day with rehab, your central nervous system seeing that as 2 abnormal blips in your day, the way to look at this is to do this as frequently as possible, maybe at a lower frequency, but as frequent as possible throughout the day. And I mean, at a lower intensity, but at a higher frequency throughout the day. And then your central nervous system starts to see this now as, this is what's normal. I need to learn to adapt to this. I need to learn how to integrate these sensations. So if you get dizzy with turning your head side to side, as you get up from the couch to go get something from the fridge, you should be turning your head side to side as you walk through your house. Is it going to make you dizzy? Yeah. Is it going to go away? Yeah. It's very temporary. Right? And then as you walk back, do the same thing, side to side. Okay? If you get dizzy, if you focus on an object and you turn your head side to side, but you keep your eyes focused right on that object, if that makes you feel dizzy after a couple minutes, you should be doing that throughout your day. Right? We went on a walk this morning and we were talking about it, and I said, like right now we're walking up, you can see a stop sign, and we're walking up and I'm looking at the O and I'm just turning my head side to side as I'm doing it, right? These types of things and incorporating this more frequently throughout your day is a better strategy than just doing rehab specifically. But the rule of thumb is find out what makes you dizzy and try to do that frequently and make it a part of your day and your regular life, because what you'll start to realize is after a while, that doesn't make you dizzy anymore. That is the road to recovery. Concussion rehab requires symptom provocation, so don't be afraid of symptoms. Don't overdo it, but feel that slight increase in symptoms, take a break, and then 5 minutes later, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. And eventually, you're going to be able to get to 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and eventually it just won't make you dizzy anymore. And that's really the goal.